When her own grandparents branded a 12-year-old girl a thief, the accusations spread through the town like poison, instantly shattering her innocence and reputation. What began as a careless judgment quickly turned into a public sentence. Neighbors whispered her name with suspicion. Shopkeepers watched her too closely, and classmates who once laughed beside her now crossed the street to avoid her. At an age when she should have felt safe and protected, she was forced to carry a label no child deserves. The damage went far beyond hurt feelings. Overnight, her world collapsed. Friends stopped calling. Invitations disappeared. Teachers looked at her differently. Every innocent mistake was now seen as proof of guilt. The girl learned far too early how fast lies travel and how slowly truth follows behind. The most devastating part wasn't the town's reaction, but the betrayal behind it. The people who were supposed to defend her chose judgment over understanding, humiliation over love. Instead of asking questions, they spread a story that stole her confidence, her joy, and her sense of belonging. Left alone, the child withdrew into silence, questioning her own worth. Yet within that pain, something began to change. The injustice planted a seed, one that would later grow into resilience, strength, and an unbreakable determination to reclaim her name. Because while a lie can destroy a childhood, it can also awaken a courage that refuses to stay buried forever. Friends turned away, whispers followed her everywhere, and the girl was left completely alone, paying an unbearable social price for a lie she never committed. The laughter that once filled her days vanished, replaced by heavy silence and cautious stares. Hallways felt longer, classrooms colder. Every step she took seemed to echo with judgment, as if the accusation had carved itself into her shadow. Children who once shared secrets with her now treated her like a danger. Parents warned their kids to keep their distance. Even simple moments, sitting at lunch, walking home, entering a store, became painful reminders that she no longer belonged. She didn't just lose friends, she lost her place in the world she knew. The isolation gnawed at her spirit. She replayed every moment in her mind, searching for what she had done wrong, even though deep down she knew the truth. Shame settled in, not because she was guilty, but because no one believed her innocence. Being alone wasn't just lonely, it was humiliating. At night she cried quietly, afraid that even her tears would be judged. The lie had stripped her of her voice, leaving her trapped in a silence she never chose. Yet beneath that loneliness, a fragile strength began to form. Cut off from others, she learned to stand on her own, carrying pain that would shape her forever, but would never define her completely. The deepest wound wasn't losing friends, but realizing the people who should have protected her chose humiliation over truth, forever changing how she saw family and trust. Their words carried more weight than any stranger's judgment, and when they spoke, the damage cut straight through her sense of safety. Family was supposed to be the place where doubts were defended, where mistakes were understood, and where love came before blame. But for her, that promise was broken. Instead of asking what really happened, they chose the easier path, public shame. They spoke without listening, accused without proof, and spread a story that followed her everywhere. Each retelling felt like another betrayal, teaching her that trust could be fragile, even within blood ties. The pain lingered in quiet moments. She began to question her worth, wondering how easily she could be discarded by the very people meant to stand between her and the world's cruelty. Their actions taught her a harsh lesson, that love could be conditional and protection was not guaranteed. As she grew, the memories stayed with her. She learned to guard her heart, to rely less on promises and more on her own strength. The betrayal reshaped her understanding of family, not as an unbreakable bond, but as a choice. And though the wound never fully disappeared, it forged a deeper awareness. Trust must be earned, even by those who share your name.